Let us try being the blue guy once more. Ah, there we go. It seems like the final member of our initial half group is available to us at last. As we've seen, he is one of the two aforementioned blue guys. We are not yet in a position to reveal his true name, that comes later, but the nondescript moniker fits him just as well. Or so he would think. Truly a pity. Regardless, we will have to patiently wait for when the opportunity for a formal introduction presents itself. For now, blue guy, look at papers. You've just finished your time-honored tradition of nightly news fetching on the golden moon of Prospit. The actual delivery is still to be made, but it occurs to you that you should take a moment to go over the paper before you pass it off to him. This place is practically a second home to you at this point. The least you can do is keep on top of the local happenings. You share this moon with 5 other slumbering members of your group, which the local inhabitants have celebrated as heroes for countless eras. They are all supposed to be waking up soon. Taking a look at the printed information on your hands, you notice the customary guesstimate on your friend's eventual awakenings, along with a very handsome picture of yourself and the nice press operator who spends most of his time thanking you profusely for... You're not sure what, actually. Just being here, you suppose? He seems rather grateful for whatever it is you seem to be doing, at any rate. There is also a headline that worries you a little. Blue guy. Ponder worries. This moon and its twin counterpart, Durs, both revolve around a mysterious essence of unlimited creative potential, known to them as Skya. It has been around since the conception of this medium, feeding the little creatures with endless tales of fate, predestination, and salvation. These two moons, however, once held starkly contrasting views on its existence and purpose. You see, while Prospit worshipped the boundless possibilities the latent nucleus represented, so intimately tied to their beloved hero's growth as people, Durs had grown to despise it, out of fear that these very same heroes would utilize said force as a catalyst for ruin and destruction. These opinions did not come from a vacuum. While the Dursites were always meant to be antagonistic in nature, certain outside influences have swayed their minds across the eons as I watched over this universe. Far away from the soothing lulls and promises that come from Skya's benevolent light, it is harder to stop the nefarious, dismal whispers that seep through the cracks of the furthest ring. Unfortunately, there is not much I was able to do in order to stop this, and even less as time went on its steady march. But I'm getting ahead of myself. As tensions kept rising between the two kingdoms, their respective crowds grew restless. Mass panic over the game and its players fanned the flames of war in the opposing lands, and their agents grew bolder, more desperate, way more disruptive to the unfolding of the game session than was originally intended. Until one day, the seemingly dormant Crucible reacted to the turmoil without warning, revoking access to its well of knowledge with the creation of a nigh impenetrable force field, in a turn of events that admittedly caught even myself off guard for but a moment. This resulted in an eventual and hesitant truce between the two moons, two kingdoms formerly at war, now working together with the aim of releasing Skya from its prison. No longer was it viewed as the passive, inanimate source of information from before, but rather as a powerful, living entity angered and disapproving of their past choices. Little do they know that it was Skya's plan all along to bring them closer together. It seems to have worked quite nicely so far. And while our blue guy knows of these points through personal accounts and retellings originating from his moon's many inhabitants, I am the only one who has all of the little details. The only one who can see the full picture. I am the only one who would know. I created all of this, after all. Intricacies of these cultural affairs are not for you, though. They never have been. Really, you're quite firm in the belief that it's usually none of your business what happens to anyone other than yourself. You prefer to remain a passive observer rather than an active participant when it comes to most quandaries, whether you're directly involved in them or not. And right now, the only thing you want to be involved in is getting this paper where it rightfully belongs. Blue Guy, visit the Hero of Breath. Cluttering a good portion of the Hero of Breath stream block is the egregious amount of pre-delivered Prospit dailies you've so carefully cultivated over the sweeps. You doubt he's going to read them, but you've committed to the bit, in your own words. And joke value aside, he could very well gain some valuable insight on the inner workings of Prospit, Durs, and the Medium, were he ever to take a look at these. Oh well, if it comes to that, in one way or another, you can always tell him yourself. You mean this literally. You also notice that the nice little rest mat you made out of the older prince has been serving him well. During one of your earlier visits, you realize that your friend has the habit of slipping out of his recuperacoon in the middle of his slumber, due to all the squirming about that he does. You even tried tucking him back inside multiple times, to no effect. He's always had a tendency to be a little stubborn when he wants to. You figured the least you could do is ensure he stay as comfortable as possible. It's what good friends are for. Blue Guy, make your delivery, as is usual. You really wish that he could have been here with you, from the start. Maybe it would have made him a little happier. Whoa, easy boy. You think you're going to go ahead and leave now. Just forget that happened entirely. Alas, I'm afraid things are hardly ever that simple. Some memories tend to linger, whether you want them to or not, cropping back up in the most unexpected of moments. Like so. Was my abrupt appearance a bit of a surprise? I do hope it was. A certain number of unforeseen twists and turns keeps the story engaging after all. I've been looking forward to our eventual re-meeting. It has been so very long since we last spoke. And we have a lot to discuss, Hero of Space. You'll still be the Blue Guy for now, though. I, on the other hand, will be White Noise. And we will get through this act together. Ah, you're here. I would like to start off by apologizing. It was terribly rude of me to exacerbate your lung condition in order to serve my purposes, even though it was the swiftest avenue to transport you here. As you know, time is of the essence on this night. Still, I can't imagine how uncomfortable that must have felt. Then again, that may be simply because I don't have any lungs.
It's fine, I'm used to it. But why now?
Why now, you ask? Weren't you the one who decided to go to sleep with the express purpose of speaking with me earlier tonight? It's simple cause and effect. I'm only giving you what you already wanted. And truly, I've done nothing but give you what you desire, have I not? Ever your timeless servant, outside of both concept and causality. But I forget my place. For you, there has been a great passing of time since we first made our deal. I think it has been long enough that you have grown in both height and profundity. Before, you were a mere child, meandering through existence and lacking foresight. You were immature, wet behind the ears, full of ill-conceived naivetes. But now you are almost ready. The moment draws near for you to fulfill your end of the bargain.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting this. Anticipating it, really. I just wish you timed the transition a little better is all. What do you want me to do exactly?
Ever the pragmatist, aren't you? Always straight to the point. No time at all for any flowery prose coming from these old bones. You intertwine yourself so effortlessly with others, in spite of how boisterous or insufferable they may act. So accommodating, so generous. Could you not do the same for me? Just this once? It's a mutual habit of ours, rushing to aid others without a second thought. After all, the roses of our inner lives tend to remain unperturbed whenever we prioritize haste and do not linger on messy personal details, wouldn't you say? But perhaps we should take a moment to ourselves. We could learn more about each other. Doesn't that sound nice? Go ahead. Ask me anything.
Oh, alright. So, what happened to your skin? Is it just, like, lying around somewhere? And if so, do you, like, need it for anything? Can I have it?
Giving you my skin would necessitate me having had skin in the first place.
Man, I just can't win today. Nobody has anything I want.
When you ask someone a question, you must be prepared for the answer, even if it's not what you wanted or expected to hear. Truth is of the utmost importance. Truth shapes you, molds your very essence. It carves your being like a chisel to fine marble into what it was always meant to be. Do you wish to know what you are destined to become?
What is that even supposed to mean?
It means both nothing and everything. The grasping of metaphors and subsequent derivation of meaning is a sign of intelligence, you know. Crypticisms and strange symbols are the intrinsic playthings of a trained, keen mind. They harbor questions that toy with and gnaw at your intuition, that force you to come to terms with the plasticity of your ego. What I am trying to say is this. They keep you from being bored. I don't want you to be bored. Just the same, I don't want our audience to be bored. And so, I tell a story. A story that encompasses all the necessary engaging elements an audience could hope for. To that end, I strive to say the right things at the right time.
Alright.
You ought to pose a better inquiry. Complacency does not suit heroes. Are you not interested in the game you are about to play? One would think that's the subject matter you should be pursuing. It is the route that would lead to the deepest understanding of your immediate future. However, we cannot talk about that now. We must follow the outline. Each and every conversation has a goal that must be met. To divulge more than is necessary is to crucify any suspense, and with it, the narrative. Storytelling is hard work, almost as hard as the intricacies of social connections. This is why I take us down these winding roads. Not because I enjoy taunting you, but because I wish to truly know you. These detours and esoteric topics, these bastardized cultural quirks and painfully ironic twists, they all serve to establish my position as a student with you as my subject.
Well, now you're just rambling. I'm gonna ask another question if that's alright, to avoid more of that. What more can you tell me about the game?
Were you not paying attention? To reveal too much this soon would be to ruin the mystique. I can tell you one thing, though. Your objective is to win. Or it would be ordinarily. The game is orchestrated with this purpose in mind, among other things. Unfortunately, this objective is not in the cards for your group. I'm sure this must come as a bit of a shock, for you and the Hero of Time especially, given all the hard work that went into putting these gears into motion. I truly apologize for this minor deception.
Wait, so we can't win? Then why did Merritt and I do all of this? Why should we even play your game?
Hush now, it is not your job to be overdramatic. That's my role to play. Allow me to explain. To fail is not to be faced with an inevitable defeat. You, like all living creatures, will undergo an evolution. Though you and your friends will experience these transformations at a rather rapid pace and through far more esoteric means than is usual. Also, you may become superior versions of yourself, better equipped to effectively face the trials that lie in front of you. Haven't you ever heard of that saying, try again? It undoubtedly applies here. We are simply taking the necessary precautions to ensure you get your chances to do so.
Alright, fair enough. If we're all gonna get another shot after we fail, I can handle that. I'm just confused. Why choose a game like this if there's such a guaranteed risk of repeated failure? Wouldn't it be easier to pick something simpler?
If your entire trajectory of personal development was laid out for your scrutiny from the start, plain and straightforward, such a crass display, would you even be interested in following through at all? Knowing you, I would guess not. Attention spans are not naturally long, and predictability only shortens that which is already unsatisfactory. You have lived for many sweeps already, but how so? Without queries? Without debate? Without protest of indignation or idle imaginings on the possibilities of the future? You go about your routine, rendering yourself a slave to the whims of mere circumstance, and you pretend to be satisfied. Why do you do this to yourself? Conscious beings should not suffer with no payoff. They should not endlessly toil under the perceived dogmas of others because they believe that is what is required of them. They should not stagnate. You must orchestrate your own machinations in such a way as to create an offer that cannot be refused, so to speak. Something so enticing that it will act as your personal foundation, a suspension to keep you from falling flat, elevate your character to greater heights. These other games you play, they spit in the face of true challenges. They are bred in circuses. Are you not looking for fun, discovery, companionship, or at the very least, shenanigans?
I don't know what I'm looking for. That's why I took your offer in the first place.
So you agreed because you are afraid. You let yourself be crippled by your doubt, so very fearful of making the wrong choice, you effectively refused to act on your own terms, pushed along the currents of fate with no resistance. Do you feel like you are doing something wrong? That being here with me, right now, is wrong?
I guess I'm always kind of afraid of messing something up. I mean, this is a big deal, right? I don't even know what any of this means, let alone do I feel confident enough to handle it.
But what is your alternative? Would you rather return to your old life? Would you rather live out the rest of your days stitching bodies back together, hoping against hope that the next one you find will not be of someone you care about? Look at yourself. In this tale I weave before you, it becomes clearer with every word that you care deeply about those who do not care for themselves. Death is familiar company in the world you live in, and healthy minds are few and far between. And without this deal of ours, the cycle of existence itself would be broken by a force of total annihilation. You are far better equipped to handle this than you know. Maybe even more than I know, if only because you have no other options. You are, in many ways, at the end of your rope. In much the same way, I am nearing the end of mine. Take these words of advice, if nothing else. There are some instances in life when it is blissful to be ignorant. True understanding can beget torment for the mind, leaving initiative at the mercy of atrophy. The more you understand, the more difficult it is to act. And we cannot risk indecisiveness when so much is at stake. Just remember what I have told you. The rest shall become clear whenever it needs to be so.
To be honest, that freaks me out a little. But I suppose I don't have much of a choice at this point. I did make a promise.
And the grace you have shown in keeping your word leaves me all the more confident in my decision. What I am about to ask you to do is not merely a service to me, but rather to yourself, as well as to those you are about to play the game with. Understanding this will help you in your personal journey. You walk an isolated path. Like this story itself, it will splinter, seeming to careen endlessly into the obscure realm that is space, but it is not without purpose. In fact, it is purpose incarnate. Allow me to show you the reason for our meeting. This is the green sun.
Yeah, that sure is what it looks like. Very descriptive, I guess. But I don't know what it is. Or better yet, why it is.
And now I can tell you that much. It is the very essence of existence, the force which powers the complex multiverse you inhabit, from its most structured life forms to those that are ostensibly entropic. I preside over all of them. It provides a heat so pure, so powerful, that it is able to sustain the thin dividing line between the eternal perpetuation of life and the all-encompassing destruction that awaits beyond it. It was a gift from my Maker, and it is my very heart and soul. With it, I have been able to protect all of creation from certain oblivion in their stead. But soon, like all living beings before me, I too must face death. My bones are old, and my heart has grown weak. As such, it must be returned to its birthplace, lest the breath be choked from the very cosmos themselves. That is your duty. That is our deal. This is going to be what fertilizes the end, as well as bring about a fresh new beginning. Make sure the imperative nature of its purpose is not lost on you, literally or metaphorically. But I suppose that is for later. We are still in a safe portion of this tale, as much as the amount of foreboding statements has been ever increasing. The gravity of it all is yet to truly settle on our shoulders. That said, with this particular expository section out of the way, how about a joke to lighten the mood? No more pesky navel-gazing. I know you tend to be quite taken with the types that can do that, those who laugh it off, who do not worry over much. Almost as if turning your gaze inwards causes you discomfort, and you seek to alleviate that somewhat. Oh, I seem to have accidentally veered towards introspection again. No, I don't suppose that last line set me up for comedy. There's not much here that calls for laughter, if I'm being honest, nor anything that allows for some sort of wisecracking explanation. Such are the drawbacks of being the lone mouthpiece of existence itself, residing on my own inside a bleak, fuzzy void. I am reminded that I've a myriad of delightfully osseous puns and props I was planning to exploit later. Perhaps I could make an exception here just for you and deploy some of those a bit ahead of schedule. I have to admit the certain visage I'm borrowing lends itself extremely well to a certain brand of visual gags and cheeky turns of phrase. It amuses me greatly. Now, if only you could stop making all of these odd sputtering noises. Oh, that's right. You're supposed to be asphyxiating now. I'm afraid there's not much I can do for your real body, as physically discomforting as this may be. Such are the beats dictated by the will of narrative flow. In this specific case, taken the form of a quite literal fickle beast, and we must dance to its ever-present tune. It does sadden me that you can't stay here longer, as I would very much appreciate the company. You've always been a favorite of mine, you know. All of your friends are. Well, I suppose it can't be helped. It's about time you woke up. A candid farewell is all I will part with, but I shall remain here, and as always, I will be watching over you. A thought has come to me, after all that. A thought pertaining to the number 12. I believe that, at this point, it is quite apparent that the seemingly arbitrary value holds some form of importance in our tale. Did you know that the two digits, when placed side by side, are thought to be the perfect number? According to old planetary wisdom, in any case. Of course, the amount of stock put into these antique notions varies by individual, as these things tend to. Quite fitting, then, that there are 12 main characters unknowingly taking their places on camera. 12 souls who once again are set to give their own lives and the lives of others a deeper meaning, freedom, and most of all, a final chance at continued being. 12 facets of reality, compounded into the core of what defines these young trolls as themselves, their very essence, like a bright, burning center of untapped transformative potential. Isn't it beautiful? But I think you already knew that much, didn't you?